GM. Today's daily lesson is going to be about emotions, but don't worry, I'm not going to get all soft on you. No, a while back I asked for some topics for daily lessons, and Niania, the crypto captain from Adams campus, came back with a really good one, saying what emotion is going to wreck the most amount of people at the cycle top and how to avoid getting wrecked by it. So think for a moment. What would you say? What would you say the answer is? What emotion is going to be getting you wrecked at the top? What emotion will put you at most risk? Probably you said greed, euphoria, something like that. In my experience, it's neither of those. It's not greed nor euphoria. It is a manifestation of them, so you can say it's a form of it. But the single biggest thing you need to look out for is complacency. Complacency. It's not euphoria, right? Because I'll be honest, once you become experienced and you see the setups and you know that this is a strong accumulation range and you know that it has reset back nicely to the 4-hour bands or whatever, and you get into a trade and you have high confidence and it's a tested system and it's got a high probability of winning, and then it pumps and goes 2, 3, 4x when you did everything right, you're going to feel euphoria. There's no way that when coins pump, I don't feel great, right? It's the management of that. It's understanding that just because you feel euphoria doesn't mean now you can start taking extra trades. No. You set your trade up, you waited for it, the setup came along, you entered, it went well, and now you wait for the next one. So euphoria itself won't actually get you wrecked at the top. Greed is too broad, right? Obviously, greed is just like saying, I'm not going to sell because I think it's going to go up. But greed is not how it manifests, right? Whenever the market tops, you're still long and you start to ignore flat red flags and you start to say, oh, I'll get out on the next bounce and all that. That's more fear than greed. Yeah? That's more fear. You don't want the party to be over. You don't want the bull market to be over. You don't feel like you made enough. It's actually fear of having not done enough. But yes, greed is one. The biggest emotional flaw to look out for is complacency. It is euphoria that leads to complacency. It is greed that leads to complacency. It's when you take your eye off the ball. It's when you're making so much money every day that you stop counting. Right? It's when your portfolio is up so much every morning you wake up and you can't wait to check your portfolio. You're like, oh, another 20%. You ape into some other trade and you lose, 4 or 5%. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Everything's up. It's when you start breaking process because it feels easy, or because you'll make it all back, or this is how complacency bounces happen at the top of a bull market. Because every other time it dipped, right? Every other morning you woke up and we were down 20%, because that'll happen 5 or 6 times in a bull market. Every other morning you woke up and we were down 20%. You just waited 2 days and it was back at the highs. Complacency, complacency, complacency. How do you beat complacency? Journaling. That's one. Journaling is very important. Keep a log every day of your thoughts and emotions and what happened in the market, what was going on. Thoughts and emotions, you should always do that. That's very simple. 5 minutes, just say, today I felt this, today I felt that. Maybe you had a bad trade, maybe you had a good trade. But also note down some things that were happening. It's really important, like little things. Today was the 12th of December 2023. Injective made a new all-time high. Also pumping was Atom. Also pumping was XYZ. Bitcoin was down at 40k, ranging sideways. The fear and greed index was at 72, whatever, right? Can be super basic, but put some specific details in there too. Those little things will really, really matter. Little things like which coins are making you all-time highs, which coins were pumping, which coins were not. Right? Just some market facts. And of course, read through the chats, right? What are the students talking about in the chats? What's Michael talking about in trading analysis? You don't have to log everything with great detail. It's just a few lines. And it's just the practice of keeping you engaged. The fact you have to do that every day means you have to look at the market. Most complacency comes from burying your head in the sand. Complacency comes from ignoring dips. You should never be ignoring a dip, because a dip is either a buying opportunity or it's the beginning of the end. Every single dip is either a buying opportunity or it's the beginning of the end. So don't get complacent. Complacency is the killer. And the way you get complacency, obviously journaling is one, and journaling helps, but you must also have a routine of analysis. I explained one on a lesson that's on the Learning Center about how to spot tops using Bitcoin and the total market cap charts, comparing them. You can compile your own list of several different metrics you want to look at. Maybe it's open interest, funding rates, the ratio of Bitcoin to alts, which is outperforming, stablecoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance, the US dollar, DXY, how the stock market's doing, whatever. Pick 4 or 5 things that are important to you and check them every day. That'll mean that every single day you're aware of any significant changes in your system. And again, most days it'll be nothing, and most days it'll be no change, no change, no change, no change, no change. But the day when something does change is the day that's going to matter. So, you knew I was going to say this, didn't you? Discipline is what's going to keep you from being complacent. And this is not hard. This is not like I'm telling you to run 10 marathons in 10 days. I'm just saying, have a little process. You should have one anyway. Every single trader must have a morning routine and an end of day routine. It can be 10 minutes each time. It's not about how long it is. It's not about how complex it is. It's not how many data points you have. It is about doing it. And it's doing it that will alert you before it's too late. Because the complacent people check in on the market every few days or every week, or they only look at it when it's up and they get an alert and it's pumping. So if you're checking every day, you're spotting danger before the complacent person. You're not going to sell the very, very top. You're not going to get out before the whales or whatever. But you are going to be able to be in a position to get out before the real danger comes.